I'm sorry. I'm eating an apple. This is gonna be about some adult subject matter, so, warning. Mm. We're gonna be talking about the e-files somewhat. I didn't wanna put that in the title. I'm trying to, like, get past it. It's hard to, like every single day, there's more that comes out. Like, how involved these people were with everyday aspects of our lives, from the 4chan, the what was it called? Gamergate, about like 10 years ago almost now. Just so many things that like these people could have possibly played a part in. People were even digging up emails that was like, if you haven't heard, you try not to cuss in the first minute. I don't want to say it, but there's this term for like things, just overall products getting worse. How things, the quality of things seems to be going downhill, not just planned obsolescence. Hi, Deb. How are you? Good morning. But it's called the shitification of things. That's like the theory. That's like things are being made worse, and these people had their hands in it, and it's like I just got done recording a medicinal seeds video. I'm really trying to like stay on topic for like where I want my channel to go. It's hard knowing that we live. I know I'm going to sound dramatic to some people, but I also know that other people who are going to really get it. It literally feels like we live in hell right now. Like we live in hell. Demons run society, demonic people, and we've known about that. We've been being told for a few decades now, for several decades, and because they're so good at controlling people. Um, it's just gone right over our heads, and I understand people can hear these details of things like Boys Town and McMartin Preschool. That was something I never even heard of before. If you haven't heard of it, Taylor Alicia, she's a young Christian woman that makes YouTube content. She made a shorter video on it. Karina Lord, it was in one of her longer videos recently. Hi, TY, how are you? And McMartin Preschool happened in the early 80s, I believe, where kids were coming home saying that they were taking them into tunnels. And I don't even want to say but it was satanic ritual sexual abuse happening to these kids. And if you don't know the story, you should go see more than me just talking about it. It really exposes how, like, they try to go and cover those tunnels up. Thank goodness. And this one man in one interview, he's like, "Don't tell me there's not a God," because a bag floated into the tunnels as they were closing it up that had 1982 on it. So when they went and found the tunnels, they could prove, well, those tunnels were definitely not what they were when that bag floated in there in 1982. There were like actual tunnels, and they somebody went in there and filled it in. And I believe the first complaint was in 1981, if not 82. I think it was 81 when it started to come out that this preschool, I'm talking about Mick Martin Preschool, if you haven't heard of it, it's just like the same story over and over. The same thing as with Boys Town, and this was in California, and supposedly people in the entertainment industry had a lot to do with it. I know this is going to sound bizarre, but you have to see it for yourself. The woman who ran McMartin Preschool was this elderly lady who looked exactly like Mrs. Doubtfire. Yes, the movie. You need to go look this up for yourself. It is like they were like, haha, we got away with it. This old evil woman was helping to aid in these, like, sounded like a pretty, not all the time. It's not just wealthy people, but let's be real. I think one reason why they keep getting away with it is because they are wealthy and it's so classist. Dove said spiritual warfare is real. I completely agree with you. It's like, why did I struggle saying real? That freaked me out. I am like trying so hard to get away from the e-files. And then it's like, I gave myself an hour and that turned into 2 hours a day. Okay. I'm allowing myself to indulge in like two, and that is it. Have you guys heard about the jerky in the files? I'm fine. And how are you today, my dear? TY said, I'm pretty good. Dove said scary stuff. Know someone who looks like Mr. Bean. No, Bubbles, I don't. There's so much being put right in front of our faces. I can't help but think like yeah, something really big is about to happen. And it like seeing the way that people treat the victims is also something that's very triggering to a lot of us. Let's be real. I don't want to say most people, a lot of people have been through similar things when they were younger. A lot of people had parents that didn't protect them. A lot of people, like, so we know this is prevalent. A lot of girls go and tell their mom that the mom's boyfriend or even their dad like is messing with them, and the mom doesn't believe the girl. Like this is very common. It's very hard as a parent who's not wired like that to wrap your mind around the fact that like people have kids coming to them and they don't do anything about it. It's so disturbing. um the I'm gonna uh The if you have access to the internet, you need to, call or text 911. I'm gonna be honest, beef jerky, if homemade, does need to be refrigerated. Maybe he had an obsession with it for real. Well, Daniel, in one of the and it could have been a different kind. In one of the emails from the chef that made it, they were like, just so you know, it doesn't have to be refrigerated. But obviously they were packing it with ice and stuff. So I'm not disagreeing with you, but there was one email that was like, so we're on the same page. That's how they said it. So we're on the same page. This doesn't have to be refrigerated. And not all jerky is preserved, so it doesn't necessarily mean it's cut for something else. I don't think that it's I don't know anything 100%, but it's also creepy that it's wouldn't be hard to put past somebody. This is what gets to me the most. He was taking pictures like a teenager. No offense to teenagers, but I didn't take pictures of myself like that unless I was like a freaking teenager. Why is there not one picture of him eating jerky when he was eating upwards of 35 pounds a week of it? And why would he get jerky analyzed in the lab? Now, I can understand that as like somebody on a special diet. If I had the money to analyze certain foods that I made at home, I would probably do the same thing. So that's not like out of the realm of possibilities. But like you can look at the nutritional value of beef dehydrated, can't you? But anyways, what stood out to me the most was somebody mentioned, have you seen the pictures of his face kind of swollen? That could be Kuru disease from consuming human flesh. So like I am definitely not here to say definitely for sure one thing or the other, but it is something I've gone back and forth on personally. Hi, Ty, how are you doing? Um, how is your tuna? Oh my goodness. The first troll of the day. Okay. So what I really wanted to talk about was like how I feel, and I can only be on here for a little while. um, what I want to, and I've tried so hard, it's just like this is what they want to. They want people to be stuck in a rut. The only way out of this is to be as self-sustainable as possible and to vote with your dollar. So that means like as much as you can. I'm gonna probably buy something from Amazon whenever there's like a few supplement companies, like I can only order from through, they don't have their own website. You can't get them anywhere other than Amazon. So I understand supporting Amazon and businesses like them, and like I wouldn't fault people for that. But we can try as hard as possible not to. Anything that you can buy or like not buy, like any way we can like starve these people out because it really is like I look at it like we were right all along to work hard for our money and to not try really hard to become part of that world. Look at what happens when, in my opinion, a good person does become part of that world. Charlie Kirk, you get killed. And if you have a good heart and you enter that world and you actually have good morals, they're going to make sure that you don't last that long. And so, what can we do as a society that sees it for what it is and how like evil this is and how crazy it is that nothing's being done about it? I live near a lot of Amish. I mean, I would not ever call myself Amish or want to be Amish and under the rule of some old man that created the Ordnung for that particular group of Amish people. I just personally wouldn't want to live that way, but I think that we could learn a lot from them and the way that they like live in a parallel society. That's what we need to do. We need to form our own parallel societies and like exit from theirs as much as possible. And somebody's going to bring up property taxes. I get it. Property taxes suck, but they're not all crazy. And like here in Kentucky, they're not that bad. And if you have a few residences and you need to look for like the stipulations, which once again, people in the title company wouldn't answer me. I think if I was a rich bitch, would you answer me, title company? Why do people put stipulations in the deeds? And why can't I, when I buy that land, just make my own stipulations? There was properties for sale that was like, you can only have 10 chickens or less. Why does the previous owner get to tell me, or you can't sell chickens, you can't make money off of eggs or chicken meat on this land? For how long? For the rest of time? Who puts these stipulations on the properties? And when can you just, I swear there's like something in the system where they tell all these people that don't make much more money than most, like, the they're not like the elite working at this is where you usually go and close when you buy a property and like you trust these people to check the deeds and do all this stuff. They're the ones that actually do the work. You think a realtor's gonna, the realtors aren't there to help you. They're not there to do anything but make money off of you. I'm sorry if you are a realtor and you are one of the few good ones. We've had so many bad experiences with realtors. I will never give 1 cent of any sale of my home ever again to a realtor, ever again. Mark my words. And we have already sold by owner once. So don't like come at me. Like we know once again, it's the tax and title company that really does check and make sure. And like the day we close on this house, they're like, "Oh yeah, the homeowners is really expensive because there's no fire department nearby." Thanks a lot, realtor. When we sell this house, I'm gonna make sure that people know that before we're sitting in the closing room, like getting ready to close, they're gonna know that we're so honest about all the faults and pros and cons of this property. Oh, White Point, thank you. That I feel good knowing we disclose everything. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, we've probably made less money. We're like honest to a fault. Whenever we do have a little extra money, we try to give it to people that need it, even though we like literally hardly ever have a savings account. And it's like, I'd much rather be me and struggle with money than be one of these people and involved in this world where if you are not corrupted and evil, you are an accomplice to it. You're like going along to get along, and you know these people do evil shit. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, White Point sent 5 Kentucky memberships. I can only be on here till like 1, and I wanted to talk to you guys. I felt like the need to get on here to connect with you guys. Literally only on here right now, and TT Boy has made an excellent point. What did TT Boy say? Are you serious? Without water, you would die in a few days. Oh, to the person saying the basement thing. I know. It's like there's always weird trolls about stuff like that, which I think is a really sick thing to troll about, honestly. Deb, our 3 girls each had one buckling. So soon we'll have goat milk. The babies get theirs first, but Giggles is almost old enough. We can start sharing lion's milk. That is so freaking cute. Giggles. So you have a baby goat named Giggles. Am I correct in that? How are you doing, White Point? How are you today? Renting is way more expensive than owning, I find. Yeah, and I still see people promoting renting. And I know there's times when somebody's going to rent. I get that. Like there are, especially when you're younger, you're going to college or something like that. I get that. But like let's be the people with the most money, they like buy a house for their college kid to live in. They buy a condo for them to live in, and then they like rent it out later. And like, oh my gosh, it just kills me how people make so much money off of real estate in this country. I saw this thing called Billionaires Row in New York City, where these billionaires buy these huge condos they literally never move into, have no plan of moving into, because the thing is the property taxes is as expensive compared to the market rent. But there's no market rent because they are like all in agreement, I guess. It didn't say this, but this is what it has to be, right? They all know how to play these loopholes. Oh, we'll all buy from this building, we'll not rent any one of them out, and then our property taxes will be near zero as it appreciates in like 10 years. We'll have all this appreciation in this asset without any hardly any property taxes. This is the thing. Like people that are the elite, the satanic baby offing, sacrificing, eating pedos, if they're not that, they're rubbing shoulders with them. They're okay with it. They are an accomplice by nature. Uh, those are the people that get to the point where they can even do things like that, where it's like, it must be nice, but is that why the Bible says the love of money is the root of all evil? Because if you love money that much that you just can't get enough, you can't get enough. It's all more, and you're gonna like so threatened by having to pay 2% more in income tax, even though you have more money to live off of than any one person should, and your family will be fine indefinitely, just living off the interest of what you have already. It's evil, and it's so refreshing to see more people are waking up to that fact that, like, no, these people are nobody to look up to. Remember how people used to look up to Bill Gates? He had no medical degree. I feel like I can't talk about medicinal herbs I have grown and used for years and years. I feel like I have to be really careful and tiptoe around the fact that I'm not giving any medical advice. But Bill Gates was out there with no college degree, right? Didn't he? I'm sorry if I'm wrong. He stole DOS, okay? Whatever he's famous for, he stole other people's ideas, just like Mark Zuckerberg. Mark Zuckerberg stole Facebook from somebody, and all these people that we like idolize because they create jobs. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and the jobs, the corporations, the things they're creating are poisoning our environment. I just watch a I know, I know. I know. I can't stand to be in my own head sometimes, honestly, you guys. You're sweet for like listening to me at all. Northern Georgia is like the third most toxic site in our country now because of some carpet producing factory that has released PFAS all over. Is so incredibly sad. And oh my gosh, what's happening to our land? That's one reason we chose this area of Kentucky. I'm not trying to show off. There's plenty of pollutions. There's plenty of farmland runoff that's polluted waters and wells. Okay. I'm not saying it's like pristine here, but there really aren't any like super fun. There aren't any of those like proving grounds really close by. It's just ridiculous how much and we look up to these people that have like they don't work for their money. They work less hard than we do, and then we look up to them because they just keep hoarding money. Um, have you seen the show where people are trying to be Amish, get a membership? It's pretty interesting and new. Oh, I no, Lioness. Do you know what that's called? Thank you, Deb. Gnostic Light Being, Criswa, Idra Machine, Daigle Sauce, and Beta Buckscott memberships. That's awesome. Oh, thank you, Larry. That's sweet, Larry. I am a married woman. Hi, Joey. Carolyn, that's such a pretty name. Carolyn, look at how clean chat room is. You're being such a good girl today. I am doing good, Lydia. How have you been? I've been good, White Point. Overall, I've been good. I've been Instacarting a lot. And it's like, I need to stop accepting orders that are out in the country because I made $55 off one order. It took less than 2 hours. But man, like it was like a mile off the road, the driveway, and it was thawing out, but like it was right by a creek, And so of course the creek was like raging because of all the snow thawing. And I'm just like, why is like every order I take in like the worst situation? And I'm driving a Honda Accord, so I'm not like in an off-road vehicle. And please, if you live in a situation where you yourself have to have a truck to get in and out of your home, can you please let delivery people know that when you're like hiring gig work? That's the one, but then this lady gave me $20 on top of it already. She had already tipped. So that's how I made $55 off one because this lady was like very, because she knew like it was a cart full of soda and Gatorade. And I'm like, I need to work on my YouTube videos and work on my channel because it just sucks. I used to do DoorDash. I don't even bother with DoorDash anymore. It's so horrible how low they pay. But this is I was kind of in a not in a bad mood, but as you can tell, I was just like worked up. I'm like, This stuff is so crazy to me that they had their hands in so much and like what are we gonna do? Like what are we gonna do? Like we need to do something. Like I'm not inciting any violence, even though like I just mean like in our personal lives to like take back control. And yeah, I really do believe growing plants is one huge way to do it. And I want to share that with you guys. And I'm excited because for years I was defaulted on my student loans and I'm not anymore. So we don't have to do this thing we used to do that would it would make our tax return take a lot longer to get to us. So I know if you're waiting for your tax return, if you're in that boat where you're like a family that uses it and knows what home repairs or whatever you're going to spend your tax return on already, just like really think about even if it's like one garden bed, you'd be surprised how much you can grow out of literally one like 3 by 4 or 6 foot space. Like really seriously. And start if you don't grow anything, start growing things. Um Yes, moms are lion, cinnamon, and clover. Lion had giggles, cinnamon, and McDilligaff had, and Clover had karma. Oh my gosh, Dove. Thank you for telling me all those names. Those are so cute. Um, Buy and rent later. Yes, Michael said. Yeah, that's what a lot of rich people do in college towns, because you can get a house. And I'm talking about like smaller college towns, but even bigger college towns you can get a house for around $100,000. That's good enough for a college kid to live in, right? I mean, our house was around 100,000. That's fine for anybody to live in, but you know what I mean when it's talking about like these rich people. That's like a drop in the bucket for them to come up with the down payment to that or even pay it in full. And oh my goodness, I idolize no one. That's good, Ty. That's good. You're so young and you already feel that like you do that. Good for you, Jorge. I hope you're doing well. Sorry that I speak too fast. Just like Alexander Graham Bell, he stole a lot of ideas. Yes, White Point. I don't know if you've ever seen me talk about that, but Alexander Graham Bell did not invent the telephone. And every time I look it up, they're still teaching kids in school that, even though in the year 2005 or so, our government rewarded the real inventor of the telephone's family, this like posthumous thing saying, like, yeah, Marconi. See, I always get the name wrong when I say it too. I think it's Marconi, an Italian immigrant came up with the technology we use as a telephone. And Alexander Graham Bell worked at a patent office just like freaking what's his face in Edison. And he like waited for this Marconi. He had a patent and he waited for that guy's patent to expire. So that's probably the only reason we even gave him proof is because it's like, look, there's proof this guy had a freaking patent for the exact same technology. But of course, since he was Italian, because like back then, if you didn't know, most of you probably do. Immigrants people were treated like shit often for being Italian or Irish, and, it's just like, even though we're the nation of immigrants, "Hey, Fendi, how are you?" There's always been, pitting one against the other type stuff. I used to dash White Point. I don't anymore because the last time I did, I lost money. Oh, Gary. Okay, what's going on? You sent 5 more? Oh, thank you so much, White Point. Sham, Abahaya. I'm sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong. Abhia. Obsessed, Vic, Gary. I remember Gary. How are you, Gary? Not to call you out because I don't know if I saw you chat. I'm assuming that means they're in the chat, right? Or is that okay? So I've been told it's the most. Sorry, I'm like that's happy, yay! It's the most common viewers that get the membership. So I don't know if that means that they're in the chat. You know what I mean? It's the people that like watch my channel the most. But that's just one thing one person said. TWC, how are you doing, TWC? Patrick, who's your GF, Patrick? Um, QP, what age did you start accepting gray hairs? Probably when I started getting them, and I have a lot more than when I started getting them, but like pretty early on. And I came to the like I'm open to using henna, but that's like another thing. Like if I could find a good brand that people recommended, it's like people talk about how it tends to have too much lots of lead, and I know lead exists naturally in the environment, but it's really crazy when you learn about like Sweden never put lead in their paint or lead in their gasoline. It is like we've always been this like industrious country that the most important thing, I mean, before, it was farming at first. The most important thing was money, money, money. We've always been a country, it was rich white men avoiding paying taxes, and that's still what it is today. It's literally no different. It's just like whatever we can to make the most money. Who cares that one in three people get cancer in a few hundred years? Who the fuck cares, and it's just like as demoralizing as it can be to like realize this is the nature of reality. It's also taxes suck, TWC said. Yes. um, but I think that and somebody did point out before, copper deficiency can be a sign, a reason why you have gray or white hair. So, like, it is something that if you think, well, this is sudden, or I'm really young for this, I don't know. If you all of a sudden develop a patch like super quick, you might be deficient in copper. But I really don't think that's what's going on with me. Oh, thank you, Trey, for subbing. No realness these days, Mad Hatter. I think things are changing. Oh, hey, Jack, how are you? I feel like things are changing in a good way, but that's like what's going on right now are like the growing pains, like people that, and it was funny. I like Patara, Appalachian Homestead Patara. She was saying this is like us people that have like known conspiracy theories that have all come true in the last, 20, 40 years of their life. They like aren't as surprised, but it's the people that are like okay, like, they just what I guess you could call used to be called taking the red pill, when that used to mean waking up to the reality that this is, in essence, a simulated reality that you don't have as much control over as you thought you did, and, anyways, thank you, Ray. If you're trying to date a very successful product from a failing business, you what does that mean? Antonio Muco yes, thank you, Dev. I know that if you look it up, you'll be able to find what I'm talking about. Italian immigrant who invented the phone. For some reason, I always say Marconi. Who is Marconi? Am I thinking of Mars Capone? Ty, you can. What are you saying? You don't want to seem snarky today for? They don't have to be present in the chat. Being a subscriber is enough. Okay, White Point. Okay, that does make sense. Because it's like people that usually are talking when they're in the chat will get one and not have said anything. So that makes a lot of sense. They've had it since the regulations, no bar said. Gifted memberships just randomly go to people who are sub that have accepted gifted memberships on. Oh, okay, Dev. Yeah, I forgot that that was a thing. Luke says, I'm black. That's cool, Luke. What's your favorite thing to eat? Oh my gosh. I'm weird. I have like no appetite. Uh, it like I used to, and I'm not recommending this. I used to like have to have marijuana before I had an appetite at all, and I don't do that every day now. But oh, hey, Stone. Yes, I am Stone Papa Smurf. I wanted to like get this out of my system. I do want to go live tonight. Like so, I was just like, um, I tried to listen to Sabby because Sabby was live. She's like one of my favorite YouTubers, Sabby Sabs. And I was like, I want to talk to people myself. And I feel so lucky to be able to hop on here and talk to you guys. Thank you, Donnie. I think it's like highlights, it's like hair tinsel. They really do have like old school tinsel strands you put in your hair. And I have to tell this story again. One day I asked my husband if he thought I should dye it. And he said, when I look at you and I see your gray hairs, I don't see you getting older. I just see all the years we've had together. And he started to get tears in his eyes, and I laughed at him. Marconi invented the radio. Thank you for saying that, Kevin. I don't know why that's so stuck in my head because I've been telling this story for like 20 years now. Okay, so I home educate my kids. My oldest two ended up going to public school. One's already successfully graduated high school, one's still in high school, and now I'm home educating the youngest still, and he is on the autism spectrum. Um, One thing decided as soon as we started homeschooling was we're not celebrating Columbus Day. And that was, like, a few years before that became a thing. I was like, "We're not celebrating Columbus Day," and, like, you have to tell them, "This is who invented the telephone, and this is who people say invented the telephone," but just, like, like, you have to tell them, and I think that that really helps and makes for like, I know somebody's gonna say homeschool kids are weird, whatever. I wanna know where all these fine products of the public school system are. Where are all these kids that can socialize super well, and I know a lot of kids did go through a lot with the 2020 stuff, and, it was bad for them, but, like, homeschooling does doing homeschooling right, the socialization aspect and everything, like, it's, beneficial for them in every way it's been studied or measured. Kids that are homeschooled go to college, tend to finish college, probably because 'cause they're not as burnt out. They do better in college, and, like, there's this, like, big, like, assumption. Somebody Shira on the Wall, like, I like her, she's, like, a commentary YouTuber. She was a video I watched of hers yesterday, she was making fun of homeschoolers. I'm like, "I really wish that we could agree as a society to quit calling homeschooled kids weird," just because, like, there's no weird kids that come from public school, but you just don't attribute it to public school, you know? Anyways, Bell invented the phone, inanimate objects creating other inanimate objects. Oh my gosh, Jack, that's funny. I just saw Antonio Mucci. Okay, I bet that said like Mucci, right? Antonio Mucci, Antonio Mucci, Antonio Mucci. That's how I memorize stuff. I have to like say it if you, I should. Oh my gosh. I've gotten them when I just said and haven't chatted yet, Dev said. Oh, that's funny. Oh, Ty, yeah. Well, TWC, yeah, I used to be a pretty big pothead. I have like I know anxiety gets thrown around a lot, but I have like extreme anxiety. And when you're a woman, and I'm sure men too, but when you're a woman, the only help you really get for that is antidepressants. I did get Xanax prescribed to me once. And then he talked to a therapist that I was honest with about the marijuana, and then he took it away from me cold turkey. And if you don't know what that's like, good for you, but you should not stop taking that kind of medication cold turkey. So that might also be part of my issues. But anyways, I don't think that anybody should have to take anything, but in this world, I don't fault anybody for it either. But yeah, I don't want to like promote that to young people, especially when I was growing up, it was so much different, you guys. And now it's so strong. I couldn't imagine having it as strong as it was like when I was like 16 years old, or as strong as it is. WPE, thank you. I couldn't remember to spell his last name, Dev said. Thank you, TWC. It's just so especially dark dye is harder on your hair than bleaching it and dyeing it lighter, if you didn't know. J-Pork. Christopher Columbus. Carrie, this channel is for prayer requests. The other one is The Ranch, Dove said. Dove, you're welcome. I didn't know she was live. I have notifications set to all. Oh, how are you doing today, Mr. Carey? I, I'm not saying I had a difficult week. I just didn't feel like getting on until like today, and I was like, I want to go live, and I want to. It's like it's just do you guys feel like we're a part of something that's like really a bigger awakening, a greater awakening of sorts? Like people are coming to terms with a lot and realizing a lot. And this is kind of like a crossroads. Like we can be stagnated. And it's like I talked about this in a members only video when it comes to young yin psychology. It's a like when you become your whole authentic self and even when you have these breakdowns where you realize the truth and your life was fake in certain ways and you realize the true nature of reality, it can cause you to just stay stuck in it, like the anxiety and the feelings that you feel like when you are listening to the e-files. Kentucky IB homeschool teacher, TWC. 10 towns and my niece is homeschooled, she's weird. Okay, I'm gonna say something a lot of people probably won't like it. You wanna and like talk about weird children and who is weird. Try talking to some Amish kids. There, I said it. And then it's like it's like the homeschool factor on top of their parents are telling them that anybody that doesn't live like them is going to hell. And they're like, I literally had Amish kids more often than talk back to me, just stare at me and not say anything. And I'll be like, "Thank you," or "Tell your parents thank you." Like, believe it or not, like, even some Amish people order shit from Walmart and, like, but or maybe they're Mennonite, but I know there's good and bad people everywhere. Good and bad people everywhere. I had to dodge, like, 3 horse and buggies this morning. So annoyed. You guys, they shouldn't go out when it's, like, rush hour time, but it could have been an emergency, but there I go. The Awakening Magpie said. Oh, I saw this thing where Fendi said, "Damn sorry for your loss, Mr. Carey. Have my condolences." What did I miss? 88. Oh, Columbus, Indiana, February 11th. Was it your wife's relative, your uncle? Your uncle is from Casey? I'm sorry, I thought your wife was from Casey County. I forgot you had family from there too. I'm sorry, Mr. Carey. Well, 88 years old. Are you gonna go up to see his funeral or Columbus, Indiana? That's so funny. Me and Mr. Carey both have ties to Columbus, Indiana. It was a small world. Um, let's see. Poo plea. Oh, hey, Keith said, Mr. Carey, love and support my strong and resourceful friend. It's like I was saying that about my friend, he passed away. I almost like this. I know it sounds super negative. It's like I almost feel happy in a way for people that don't have to deal with all of this, but that doesn't mean it's any easier for the people left behind. But it's like this world. One thing mentioned in the Epstein files that I only saw like one person on YouTube talk about was trumpet flower. And if you didn't know, that's also known as datura, which is also known as a moonflower, big white flowers. I have the seeds. I haven't ever grown it because I'm almost surprised they even sell these seeds. Honestly, it's where scopolamine comes from, which, if you don't know about that, you probably heard about it before. It's the drug that comes in like a powder form that people blow in people's faces often. It's like once somebody inhales it, they become like euphoric. It's very easy to rob somebody. They'll take somebody to the ATM and they'll like laugh and giggle, getting all their money out to hand to the robber. And then they don't remember anything once they come out of it. It's used in Colombia a lot. It's a one reason why you guys shouldn't go take advantage of women in other countries because a lot of them are running schemes like that, and I can't really blame them either, honestly, because you're the big slut if you sleep around, but the man can go from country to country and take advantage of women in horrible economic situations. You don't wanna eat it, though. It's a deliriant. You might walk out a window thinking it's a door. Oh, magpie! Yes, there was some famous guy, his son died during an acid trip. He walked out a window in, like, a New York City penthouse. Oh, thank you, Mr. Carey. TKA Ranch content will be coming soon, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. I would go make I think I'm subscribed to that. I don't wanna last time I went to subscribe to somebody during a live, my live got so messed up. Hypnotic drugs, yeah, he said, yes. So it was an email where he's like, "Have you talked to the nursery about the trumpet plants?" And it's like, "Oh, that would make so much sense." I hate to say that. I know that's evil, but it's just true. These people are evil. It would make so much sense for him to be using something like that. And then something else I saw, which was super disturbing, which was like the masks in the dentist office. They're all like smiling, different faces smiling. And this is a ancient tradition. During times of human sacrifice, people would put on faces that are smiling. Because often it was like somebody you loved, especially if it was a little baby. And if it was a little baby, after they sacrificed it, they put one of those smiling faces on the baby's face and throw it in the fire. I know this is like really heavy. I'm sorry about that, but that's why I wanted to come out here. Um, whose birthday is it? Oh, happy birthday, Chance. February 13th is a cool birthday. I didn't know you had Xannies. Let me get some though. No, I don't have any anymore, Fendi. This was years and years. This was over. This was about 15 years ago. And I could go on and on about my experiences with doctors. Trust me, maybe one day I will make like a 20-part series. I've only told you guys about a few things. There's been so much. It's like God's tried to tell me so many times that health care professionals aren't demigods that know more than everybody else. I just want to pass that message along. But I am not a not telling anybody not to go to the doctor. God bless you. Find a church where the blessed, powerful, and everlasting word of God and Jesus Christ. Christ Jesus is preached. It can change your life. Okay, so another thing that was so disturbing to me, and I'm sorry to just like unload on you guys, and I don't want to mean to like use you as therapy. I don't get on here when I'm the most upset. I did that one time. I'm never doing that again. When I'm like actually, like really upset. I try to like process it, and I'm like, man. Seeing Titus Morris with a baby girl that he created with a woman who's not allowed around her own children except for under very strict supervisory conditions. And he's not allowed around her children at all, period, under any conditions, because he's such a sexual deviant. And to see this man holding a baby and people, I need to clip this because I want somebody, I'm going to email this in a short to somebody. Anybody who supports Titus Morris still after knowing about Titus's background, you're part of the problem. You're part of the e-files being so prevalent and this being such a part of our society that we swept under the rug, swept it under with McMartin preschool, swept it under with the everything. What is the other thing I'm thinking about? I'm sorry, Boys Town in Nebraska. It's just like there's been people coming out and saying, especially people that are elite, especially, yes, people in all classes do it. But what this really boils down to is classism. What it really is, isn't us versus them in like the way that we think it is. It's these people, how many people knew about this? How many people were well aware and were okay with it? The head of gynecology at Ohio State was getting paid 75,000. I heard 25,000 a quarter. Wouldn't that be 100,000? But then I heard 75,000. So I don't know what's up with that. Maybe they took 25 of it for taxes or whatever. But this head of OBGYN was getting paid handsomely by Jeffrey Epstein for consultations. And yes, okay, I'm getting if you support Titus Morris after everything that has come out about him and you make comments and you watch his videos, you are supporting somebody who is known to be indecent with animals and children, and you are part of the problem with society. That when somebody talks about going to a church, all I can think about is these people who complain about Catholic priests not being taken seriously because so many of them are such sexual deviants. These same people supporting Titus Morris, like you haven't learned your lesson yet in life. You are aiding and abetting. And the worst of the worst, as far as I'm concerned, if you sincerely support Titus and Stephanie Morris, they're horrible people who aren't allowed around Stephanie's own children for good reason. And I don't want to bring those poor children up in any other way, shape, or form. Please don't talk about them on my channel. You had to take a live down where somebody went into detail about something that happened to them. I don't want anything about those kids mentioned on my channel. They have nothing to do with any of this. They can't help that their mother is who she is. And then everybody's going to like praise. And he said for years she was just a friend. And then they obviously, I'm sorry, if you really think that they weren't romantic with each other before she divorced her husband for him, and then you're still going to support. It's like, that Christian mindset that all he has to do is say sorry and Jesus will forgive him, so we should all forgive him. No, no, that is part of the problem. And because of this weird Christian, like Quaker like mentality, so many people, we have the weirdest fucking country where it's like literally 50%. And I'm sorry if I offend any Christians. I know you're not all horrible. If you're like a good Christian that really lives by Jesus' word, I think that you're probably one of the best people on the planet, sincerely. But most Christians aren't like that. And you know that I'm right. You know that I'm right. So many people just wear the label Christian thinking they're walking around, they're a good person because of it, and they're not because they look right past men who have done horrible things in front of children and with children and animals, and they're okay with it. And they just proceed, oh, well, if he said he's sorry and he talks about Jesus a lot and he sings about Jesus, then he's not that bad anymore. No, you're supporting a person that has ever been indecent with a child is part of why it's still perpetuated. The same thing with Jeffrey Epstein. People were still associating themselves with him, and I'll even give them the benefit of the doubt. If you're from another country, you might not have known in 2008 he was hanging out at a fucking suite in the sheriff's office. You might not have been privy to that information. Okay, I'll give you that. Not every single person that talked to him probably knew about it, but still, there was plenty of people that did. It's okay, it's accepted. I haven't talked about this on my channel for a while, but it's a huge fucking problem. If the tap root is literal satanic ritual abuse and all of this, there are like so many children are going missing. Nobody cares about foster children. People who have worked for foster care, like for child protective services, have said they go missing, and I'm going around town trying to find these kids. The cops, nobody in town will help me try to find the kids that go missing. People don't care about kids in foster care that go missing. Nobody cares enough. Not enough people care enough. So many kids go missing. What is going on with this country? Internalized misogyny is a huge problem. We hate women. Women hate women too. I'm not just talking about men hating women. Women hate women. Men hate women. And we all look down on women and therefore at children as they are an extension of women. And that is one of the only ways that this can be a thing that happens over and over. And there's still that attitude. I was just listening to Alan Dershowitz talking about how Virginia Giuffre was there on her own free will. Giuffre, I'm sorry, I just butchered her name. You know who I'm talking about. She was 15 years old. And there's still these men that are like fucking, worldly, they're supposed to be some of the smartest people, professionals on the planet, are still going to say stuff like that about a 15-year-old girl. That is absolutely evil. That is evil. You are evil if you support somebody that you know was indecent in front of children. We need to all put our foot down and be like, no, at any little sign, it's better safe than sorry. I don't care how many times he said he was sorry. He's already affected innocent beings for the rest of their lives. He doesn't get a pass from that anymore. And that's why in the Old Testament it said, put a millstone around their neck and throw them in the ocean. I can't go to a church where there isn't some man that's done horrible shit and been caught with horrible things pertaining to children. I can't easily find a church. Tell me where I can go to a church where there isn't a fucking pedo sitting in the pews. Tell me, and maybe I'll go visit that one. But as far as I'm concerned, they're in every fucking church. They're the heads of them. And like, so when somebody comes in here and is like, go to church, I automatically think about Titus Morris and how he has easy access to his own little innocent baby daughter and so sick and disgusting. And a couple can bring home a baby. They're not allowed around these other three kids, but they can bring a baby home from the hospital. Explain that to me, Kentucky. I saw this horse in Houstonville, Kentucky, being kept in a dog kennel, and nobody's doing anything about it. It's unfortunate, but you know where a lot of that stems from? Yeah, I'm going to say it again. The Amish. The Amish treat their horses horribly, and everybody looks past horse abuse because every other Amish farm you see, the horses look half emaciated. Nobody says anything about that. Nobody's ever going to do anything about that because they're soul of the earth, right? Oh my God, I probably won't leave this up. Trollolololo said, "Have you ever found any missing kids?" Trollolo. Why are you asking me that? Have you? The whole point is when somebody who works in the system knows that a child is missing, they have witnessed themselves that they don't do anything about it. I'm not saying that literally everybody in an ideal community, we would be smaller, tight knit. There's this island off the coast of Colombia that's the most heavily, densely populated island of any island, any place in the world. They have no cops. How do you think they manage that? Because they all know each other and they take care of shit. As soon as somebody steps out of line, they take care of that. They don't let shit slide. They're like, no, as soon as somebody steals or does something, no, like and I think that we ideally would be in communities like that. And that's one reason they've divided and conquered us because they know that like we're gonna be easier to control in that like they're not going to draft the Amish, right? They're like anti-military, anti-government. That's what I'm saying. We can learn a lot from them. I'm not saying that we're ever going to get to the point where we could have our own society that could be like a fucking cult and then get away with like, no taxes and not being drafted into the military. But maybe it's possible. But as far as I'm concerned, if anybody literally went to live like the Amish but wasn't Amish, it would be considered a cult and it wouldn't be treated but like since they started in the 1800s and it's because of the Amish we have homeschool, so I'm thankful for that. It's because of them saying, hey, this is America. We shouldn't have to send our kids to no school in America. And they fought for everybody's right, but essentially theirs to homeschool. I heard those services are the ones that are a part of it, the trafficking. So I didn't see proof of this. I just saw a post and I did not see proof. I didn't look into it. But Ghislaine Maxwell's sister, owns a company that issues Amber Alerts. I don't know how true that is. But once again, it wouldn't be surprising. Jeffrey Epstein was really tight with the man who owned the company that owned the picture company, Life Touch. And then they issued a statement which was like, oh, Jeffrey Epstein never had access to how many millions of kids' pictures and home addresses and whatever their grade, their birthday. But they had a data leak in October. So how can they say that? Clearly, sometimes they leak their data. And so, like, that's creepy. You think every Epstein supposedly there's proof he had something to do with 4chan Gamergate. If you don't know what that is, I'm not going to sit here and explain it to you, but that was something that's like 8 or 10 years old. And it's just really interesting. They made like the political section on 4chan literally the day after he was like talking to the guy that runs or owns 4chan. And, anyways, making, my wife a coffee BRB, listening, it still won't take long. Oh, Mr. Carey, you're so sweet. I can't stress this enough. I know not all I lean towards the Bible. I need to read it in its entirety. I haven't, but like I'm not trying to knock Christianity. It's the organized religion that happens when it's built upon this foundation of we let anything slide as long as you're like, this type of person. Once again, Titus Morris wouldn't have been able to get away with the shit that he got away with if he was some black man from Louisville, Kentucky. He would have been arrested. That's the things that like boggle my mind, how people don't see these things for what they are. But I guess most often they themselves are white, and so they're like good enough in their heads. Just being close to proximity of it, they're just like, I don't know how you can't see it. You made a very good point. Tulsa is the big child and family agency in Ireland, and then it was once under their care. They were malignant and didn't help at all. Oh, Ty, I'm so sorry. White Point said I agree with you. Thank you, because I feel bad for like saying some of these things, but then I'm like, I I know I'm not ever gonna be like a huge YouTube channel because of how opinionated I am, and I'm fine with that. Michael Williams. Oh, that reminds me of Michelle Williams, which reminds me of James Van Der Beek, who passed away. James Van Der Beek passed away at like 47 or 48. Carrie talked about how the lead singer of Three Doors Down passed away a few days before that, both from cancer. I had no idea the lead singer from Three Doors Down was just like 48 years old, and he was in his early 20s then when their first album came out. And that's so sad to me. Like, how many people are we going to see? That's another thing that just like, I'm sorry, it really, it is getting worse. It like we're going to see cancer rates skyrocket, especially because of the 2020, the stress from this, the stress from everything going on in the last few weeks. That's enough to make anybody. Which is why I wanted to share like the herbal videos and like these things that can help with oxidative stress and processing, the things you eat, the things you breathe in. And I also do believe it helps you process things emotionally. And that's just like a theory of mine. I think that we're missing fresh stuff from our diet. And I'm not saying this is a cure all at all, but I'm saying like you really do feel the energy of plant. If you like eat something right off the vine, you're getting more nutrition probably. I am from Kentucky Dragon. Hi, how are you? I'm not going to give myself a stroke, Kevin. White Point, God may forgive your soul in the spiritual realm, but your actions still carry consequences in the physical world, so no forgiveness for child abusers. Yeah, especially, oh my gosh, I just can't. Dear lady, I have been through a war and wonderful life, and after all is said and done, give me the simple life and give me Dr. Mark J. Oh, are you one of those trolls that's gonna go on and on about how much that doctor has helped you? You're the doctor? I'm sorry. A personal relationship with God is what's important in my opinion. I'm not saying all churches are bad, but you want to make sure the church you attend isn't just for show. Yeah. I don't we have no money extra like most people. I couldn't imagine tithing. Like I would feel guilty about giving anybody any money that wasn't my child. Apparently children died under Tesla's care. Tuslas, I don't know if they say it like that, Tusles. Yeah, it's horrible. Yes, Fendi. I see my brain, I've been like, Amish are or would be still drafted for war. We do, however, fall under CO Cardinal would be given a non-combat duty throughout a war. Okay, Anna. Okay, so, Amish people would be drafted, but they are, like, anti-war, and, like, they've always been that way, and, like, it is possible to, like, live by your own principles, you know? That doesn't mean you'll be excluded from the draft in this country we live in, but people can start societies just like they did, and hey, this is what we all think. And like, it's okay if you're not white, if you're not straight. I don't mean it like that, but like, you have to agree with these principles. And one of them would be if anybody gets caught doing any kind of sexual crimes, they're kicked out of the community. They are shunned, they are shamed, they are not allowed ever back. And that is like part of the way we can like weed this out of our parallel societies. You have to like that's why this thing keeps going. Like nobody ever really you'll see people that kill infants get less time than like some people do for drugs. Have you noticed that? It's almost like the younger the child's life, the more the law is like, and then I can't help but think of all of this stuff we're finding out because a lot of those judges are also in on they don't see the value in a baby's life quite the same as the rest of us do, if you catch my drift. And that's one reason why they're more apt to like just give the lesser punishment. Um, oh my gosh, it's like it. it I feel like and it's fine if you don't wanna watch somebody that cusses, but the people who hold themselves to this higher standard and think that everybody around them I think it's often just a mask. I think a lot of people that go to church, they try to act like they're really a good person and they're not. Hi, Ver, how are you? Verold. A personal relationship with God is what's important. Oh, I already read that. And I already read Anna's comment. Dev, I am going to release one really soon. That's I couldn't I'm not complaining to you guys, but I seriously recorded it like 5 times and I didn't like it, and then I just did it before I hopped on here and I was like, "Okay, that was actually good." It just cut off. The very last second is gonna be like a picture. Thank you, Anna. And Anna, you're a good example of a good Christian to me that whenever I think about how evil some people can be, I'm like, but there are good ones. There are people that don't judge everybody that's not exactly like them. There are people that, choose to live like you live and don't look at everybody else as like you're going to hell. And you help remind me of that. Not to make it sound like it's all about you're in my life to be a friend, not just to teach me a lesson. Sounded kind of weird. Fendi, Russia has cancer vaccine they're working on. Fendi, yeah, I vegan, said grow food. I didn't know that, but I wonder exactly how that would work. It would probably target, I'm sure it has to do with different cancers would be handled differently, but I know that they were talking about making an autism one that was like targeting gut bacteria, so who knows? Lydia, tithing is the what are you saying, Fendi? Is that for the I don't know what you're saying. I'm fixing to make hash browns and eggs soon. That's cool, Husa. Um, so why aren't I doing something? T, that's the whole point is what I'm saying. Like it does feel like I think a lot of people feel like nothing is possible, but that's what I want to make my channel about. And I already have videos talking about it, but like you can create your own reality. Even if you live paycheck to paycheck, I get it, it's not as easy, but just being as self-sustainable as possible. If we all could get together and like some of us decide to grow different things, and I know I don't have many friends, so I just have a few friends I've made since I moved here and it is tempting to try to do something like that with them, just like start a CSA. Like, I'll grow the salad greens. Sally grows the tomatoes, and like Barbara grows all of our squash. If you don't have that much space or you don't want like a huge variety, but it is so the USDA started asking people to register their gardens. It wasn't mandatory, okay? I can't stress that enough. I think under certain condition but, like the average person, it's not mandatory. They're just like, "Oh, we're trying to create this map." And it'll help people find where, like, local food is and stuff. And I was like, "I'm sorry, that's a freaking trap." It's like, "Is Tractor Supply made you buy chickens using a debit card?" Certain things like that. That's like, they're trying to take as much away from us as possible, trying to, like, make it illegal to use wood burning stoves in New York State, or was that gas? The point is, if we take our dollars out of the system, vote with your dollars, what I like to say, and be as self-sustainable as possible. Yes, I think that will be enough. Is if 30% of us do it as much as we can, absolutely. Comments could be hidden by certain words being used. I know from my experience, my lives are asylum level and man. Yeah, and I don't have any blocked words on my end. It's not coming from me, but YouTube will block your stuff sometimes because of it. Um, Not on YouTube, and it does me that way though, true. This probably goes beyond your control. Yes, mods would see it and he removed it and what was said, and they would see you reacted as well, Deborah said. I'm Optimus Prime, and I send this message to any surviving Autobots. We are here, we are waiting. That's so funny. That is so funny. My brother had like one of the original Optimus Primes, but it was missing a big, but it was like a big freaking deal. Do not register your garden. No, I would never vegan. Never. Friday the 13th. Oh, I didn't even realize that. Say something reassuring to calm everybody. Well, we're all gonna die someday. I know not every that's how I'm a fan of stoicism, and if you remember, like, yeah, this life is long and hard, but, like, we are blessed for every day. If today was your last day, you'd want more time, so do with it what you would do if you knew it was, and it also helps to treat other people better. If you have any friends, you need to treat them like gold because 'cause they're worth way more than that, and always check in on them, and, they're gonna die one day too. And I do believe that there's a really cool channel, I'm not gonna be has 11 in it, and it's this couple, they lost a child, super sad, but she showed them signs, and so their whole channel is people who have lost loved ones that send in stories, and, they are amazing. I'll try to remember to post it on my page. Some of the coolest stories, like, I'll tell you one. This man passed away. His wife was looking for the password for his laptop because he had left her a page of passwords, but the one she didn't have was his laptop. And she looked and looked and tried. Nothing worked. That night she lays down and she hears her husband say, "Listen, just listen," in his voice. And then somebody on the TV says, "My password is password." And she was like, "Oh," and she tries password and it was his password. Now, you can choose not to believe that, but I believe that lady, and, lots of physical, like, tangible evidence that there's more to life than our physical bodies, and, if you have lost somebody, I like to even though I do really believe in our spirits being what lives on, the eulogy by a physicist, you can Google "eulogy by a physicist," and it talks about how our energy, it never dies, it just changes forms, and that's also very helpful. I meant to say tithes is for the Jays, I don't know why churches do that, and it wasn't meant for priests and widows. Oh, the no-no people, I see. Yeah, right, Fendi. I was just listening to somebody that was talking about how, like, not that long ago, we all, listen to me, all Christians thought it was like bad to have like images in the church, like they didn't believe in these fancy paintings and stuff like in the 1800s. I thought that was super interesting. She had a Bible that was from the 1800s and it had some interesting things in it. Anyways, I do need to go. I never put on a movie for my kid, but he's, like, staring at me. Jack, okay, I'll say something reassuring. There was once a man called Jason Voorhees. As you enjoy reading these words, realize automatically how you just automatically and naturally adapt to improvise and overcome, naturally thrive more with every healing breath. Yes and yes. Oh, Victor, artificial intelligence is really interesting. The stuff that's happened. It's funny because I think that it's dumb. I just saw somebody talk about how it misidentified poison hemlock. Anna, did you see that? It was like Raw Christie, that beauty influencer. She had a shorts, and I'm not subscribed to her, but her shorts popped up for me, where one of her friends said, "It what plant is this?" And AI said over and over, "It's not poison hemlock. It's not poison hemlock." But then Raw Beauty Christie used the same image and looked it up on her computer, and it was like, "Poison hemlock." It was poison hemlock, by the way, and it kept telling her it was wild carrot, which, like, one has hairs and one doesn't, I'm pretty sure, but anyways, so I think it's dumb and shouldn't be trusted, and, that's another reason why we need to all promote, being as self-sustainable as possible, being off grid. I'm fine, you wanna be connected to the grid, I get that, but, like, trying to have our own methods of our own power, our own water, and not having to be beholden to any of the things on the grid. I know by me and my county, they want you to list your garden if you have ever planned to possibly report crop damage due to deer creepy. Yes. Anna, that's interesting. Well, I'm really sorry. Yeah, basically we'll get through this, right? I think gardening will be what cures my mind of just like spinning on all this stuff. I can't stand that, and this is what they want. They know that a lot of people already know the truth, but they want people to be like stuck in that they're harvesting off of that. I never heard till recently part of satanic beliefs is when you tell somebody what you're doing, the guilt rubs off on them. Have you ever heard that? I never heard that, but that makes so much sense. That's why they put things in our faces because they don't feel guilt. But like a person with a good heart, they see something horrible and they're like, oh my gosh. And they themselves will like feel these feelings that the predators probably should have felt. And that is once again, we're energetic beings. So like they rise to the top and they stay to the top using rituals that have been done for all of human, all of time, basically. We know these things that happen, like way before Christianity. That's one thing that was so great about Christianity because Jesus was the ultimate blood sacrifice and there was to be no more. No more was needed after Jesus, right? And that's very liberating. I totally understand why people gravitate towards Christianity. It was one of the first religions at the time that was like, hey guys, be nice to your wife. Like treat your wife well, not like a piece of property and stuff like that. Like I do understand the good things and the reasons why people gravitate towards it, but we live in this. I know I'm going to end on a negative note now. We live in this weird country that's like literally 50% Puritan, 50% whores. I don't know how else to say. I'm not calling people whores. I'm saying it's like this thought process. It's like we're all accepting and okay with like overt sexuality, sexuality being commodified. Like everybody's okay with that on a certain level or accepting of it. Even if you're not okay with it on your own personal morals, you live in a society that is. And then you start to realize like how really fucked up that is and how much of a part of it we really are. And I think that's what people don't want to say. You know what I'm saying? Like you spend your money on these people, they're absolutely doing the worst of the worst. Anna also has modded Dave. Anna is my friend. Anna Dove is one of my friends I know nearly 3 years. She's awesome. Carrie said, I think I live off the grid even though I live in a city. Yeah, you could. But, use it as motivation, especially if you're a family that gets a tax check, like, it might seem hopeless, just like a countertop water purifier is gonna really help you out if, like, shit goes down, there's so many things that you can do that will make you feel more grounded and like, "We're fine, we can provide," and that's, like, what the American pioneer spirit was so great when we first started. The people that could take advantage of that, like being completely self-sustainable. They could go out in the wilderness and build a cabin out of logs. And now, like, we can't, most of us can't build a simple shelter. And it's like, we need to really look at this as like a turning point to like, this is going to be my motivation to do whatever I can to make as much money as I can to get to where we wanna be. So I assume you've probably seen the video link I sent. Sorry if it was long and hope I ain't annoying by talking to you long. No, Fendi, it's that's what I'm saying. This I can't concentrate on much. It's not you at all. I can't write anybody back. Like the day they write me, it's weird. I'm like, I have been Instacarting a lot too. Due to weird creepy stalkers, we had to reorganize the moderators for better safety, Anna said. Yeah, and it's like it's so oh, it's so disturbing. But yeah, that's the bright side. We're going to use this as motivation to redirect our lives, redirect the goals in our lives, be debt free. That's another thing we can really learn from the Amish. They don't believe in like, they can start a business and not get into a shit ton of debt. And I'm sorry if you want to start a business and it's like just inevitable, you have to get into debt to do it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that ever in any case. I'm just saying, um, there's this guy that's just started building trucks because he had a trucking company and he realized how all semi trucks, and it's called Edison, I think, Edison Motors or Edison Trucks. The like all semi trucks are this planned obsolescence shit where they have to spend $6,000 to replace a turn signal. And he decided to start building trucks again the way that they used to be built. Like these things can be motivation. So like we all make a better world for our children. And that's what the real goal should be. Oh, my eyes are real. My eye color is real. On my social media account, I protected by protective languages patterns for this reason. Um, man. But yeah, we were looking at land. We're like, it's gonna be a while till we sell this house. But on topic of weirdos, a certain Austrian tough guy mentioned me in a now deleted post. He was so kind. Oh, that guy. Okay, that guy commented a lot on my stuff, and I blocked him because he is just once again zero substance, nothing worth talking about. Just you're stupid. Okay, can you tell me you're a liar? So misinformation. I'm like, can you tell me how? You too, Keith. And so yeah, the whole point is everybody's welcome here, but like I can't stress enough. I feel like this is like a way to filter out certain things and people. And if you still believe in politics, this administration, Trump, yeah, everybody's on their own pattern, on their own pattern, on their own path. That's fine. But I just don't know what does have to happen to wake somebody up. You guys see what the no-no people are doing in Chile? Uh, there was no-no people caught setting wildfires in Chile. You should go look what it looks like Gaza or something. Like this whole mountainside is burnt to the ground. Anyways, I know he interacted with me on your post, bashing me for being a member. Oh yeah, the tie. Well, yeah, he was saying that we're all stupid or whatever. I don't know what is more low IQ energy than just bullying people, for no reason at all. But yeah, I probably will talk a little bit about the e-files. I wrote down some interesting things in my life tonight, but like I don't want people to think I'm just like, oh my God, I can't stop thinking about how crazy this world is in McMartin Preschool. You should look up Taylor Alicia's video on it. If you have anybody in your life that's having a hard time processing this, I sent it to somebody that was expressing to me that somebody they knew was like, everybody's cool, and said something to the effect of, even if Trump was a pedo, he's still the best president. No, people really need to you need to unpack how deep this goes. And yeah, everyday life decisions matter. The people you allow and associate with matter. Even if they have apologized to Jesus, it still matters. If they have stuff like this in their past, I really do believe we need to like draw a hard line in the sand and decide how you are going to live your life and who you're going to associate with. And um sometimes you can't help it, of course. You're a fool if you think this administration is gonna do anything, and did you hear about Pam and Cash being drug and catching? Okay, Fendi, oh my gosh, it was something Anna brought to my attention. I hope you don't mind me saying that, Anna. I had no idea that Pam Bondi is a Scientologist, right? Or she's dabbled in it. Um, it does seem, and this was something that somebody speculated. I didn't come to this conclusion on my own. It does seem like that might be part of the issue. Like Scientology is slowly buying all of Clearwater, Florida. If you look at downtown Clearwater, Florida, it's literally like, I don't know, it mostly owned by the Scientology church. It's weird. In anyways, I think that's like un-American. Oh, hey Matt, how are you doing? I hope you have a lunch hour. I kind of ranted a little bit in this one. You probably don't want to like watch it back. Unto God, what is God and Caesar? What is Caesar? I was talking about. It was talking about money, but I believe it applies to the law as well. It, it's so yeah. I was talking to my husband about that too. Like and I know I sound like such a bitch, but I struggle with that. I've had of quite a few women that I think are like guides to me in life, try to like look at me, I don't know, take me under their wing as some kind of like biblical help. I don't know how to say it. They're always encouraging Christianity to me, and then they abandon me when I realize I'm not going to necessarily be as Christian as they are, and they go and support people who have done horrible, illicit things to animals and children. And I just don't get like it's almost like this is why I'm gonna shut up. I'm just assume these people are okay with PDF stuff, the ones who still support Trump. You kind of have to assume that. But then again, I know that there's probably people that really can't think past what they need to. They can't really digest, okay, this is what's going on. This is what happens with a lot of people. And once again, McMartin Preschool, Boys Town. This was stuff in the 70s, 80s, 90s. That was all coming out. Remember Satanic Panic stuff? Like we learned about that and how they tried to quell that. Like they were programming us for decades to be like, oh, like anybody that really thinks that stuff is crazy. And they might have gotten away with the McMartin preschool thing if that one bag hadn't been found that had 1982 on it, which proved those tunnels were tunnels when the kids said that they were. Okay. Ah, well, I'm gonna go now, Mr. Carey. I hope you guys have a good day, and I am gonna be on tonight. I'm a ghost in the machine, offering healing as strategies must desire to listen. Unfortunately, Keith said, yeah, yeah, but they have to come to the conclusion on their own that they need healing, right? Train addict, are you a farmer? Is that what you're saying? I wonder what these little symbols are. Um, that little thing in front of farmer. I love you guys, and I'm sorry for ranting so much. Now I got something in my eye. Love you. Bye.